Hi, I've been receiving a lot of questions lately about what sort of supplies I use in my watercolor paintings. So I thought I'd make a little video to go over some of my supplies and just show you what I use to make my paintings in case you might want to get some of these as well. So first thing I'll go over is my watercolor paints. I've been using these same watercolor paints for probably about 5 years now, and they will last you a very long time. So I think it's really worth investing in good watercolor paints. And these are the ones that I like to use. I use Winsor and Newton Cotman watercolors. They just come in a set of tubes and I squeeze them out into a palette. So I use this palette here. I just got this palette off of Amazon. I can link that or a similar palette as well. I've had this one for so long, so I don't know if the exact one is available. And basically I just squeeze out the tubes into these little sections and then they dry out. So whenever you're painting, you can just kind of spritz them with some water to sort of wake them up. And then you just basically take a little bit of the color that you need and you can mix them here or in a separate palette. And it really doesn't use too much every time that you paint. So that's part of the reason these last so long. They harden into these kind of little colored pucks and it really does last a super long time. You can tell mine is pretty kind of messy and mixed up because I've used it for so long. But I really love these paints. They always serve me well. I've also enjoyed using a lot of different watercolor paints. I'll put some pictures here of the ones that I've used before. Some of them came in already hardened little puck versions. And I've also used the cheaper kind of intro ones that a lot of kids will use in school. Those work okay as well. I just find that they're a little bit grainier depending on the quality. So I really like these ones because they're very smooth. The colors aren't grainy and they blend really well together. So these are my favorites and what I would recommend, but some of those other options can work well also. For paper, this makes a big difference as well with the quality. My favorite paper to use is typically Arches cold pressed here. So I often get this with a coupon as well. So it really does come out to pretty good value. And I typically don't use a whole page because I don't do big landscape paintings. I do a lot of smaller designs, as you can see from my videos. So often one page will last me for a number of paintings, typically like 6 little card versions. So yeah, I can get a lot of use out of one pack of this. And the cold pressed paper has a bit of a rougher texture. It kind of makes the paint sort of blend differently as it pools up in the texture on the paper. I'm not sure if it'll show up on camera here, but the difference between cold press and hot press is that hot press is a lot smoother. So if you want kind of more detailed work, Arches hot press is also really nice. And I like to use that one as well. Those are probably the two that I use most often. Now, when it comes to paper, there are also some other versions I've used that are a bit more affordable. I also used to frequently use the Canson XL watercolor pad. So that one works really well also. I just find that Arches allows the paint to blend a bit better, but that one definitely does have a lot of nice features and I do recommend it as well. If you're looking for an option that's a little bit more affordable, any of those will work. And then for paintbrushes, I go for, I think, pretty affordable paintbrushes personally. So I typically paint with the Princeton Select Artiste round brushes. I don't know if these are specifically for watercolor or if they're just like general brushes that can be used for various things, but I find that they work really well and I've been really happy with them. So most often I will use a size 3 round brush. And then if I have a lot of details to do or need something really precise, I will use a size 0. These are my 2 most common sizes that I like to use, but I do a lot of smaller paintings. Again, as you can see from my videos, so I don't always need a big brush to cover a wide area, but they do have these in bigger sizes as well. Those ones, I don't really use other quality brushes because these are quite affordable as they are. And I really only need the 2 of them and they last me a long time. I'm probably on like a year of using these ones already. The issue I find with cheaper quality brushes is sometimes they will lose hairs. And especially if I'm recording what I'm doing, I don't want them to be shedding in there and having to like pick it out. So that doesn't happen with these ones. I really like them because they're pretty easy to paint with and it doesn't require any of that editing for me since I don't have to worry about them shedding hairs. So yeah, those are my favorite supplies that I've been using right now. And that could change as I paint more. Sometimes I find new things that I enjoy using and I'd be happy to share them if that's the case. But for now, if you're wondering what's in the majority of my videos and tutorials, these are the supplies I usually gravitate towards. I'll usually explain in the video what I'm using, like which type of paper, so you can tell depending on the painting which one has been used. I'm also planning to do a video eventually to compare different quality of paints to show how some of them can be a bit grainier but still work well versus how these ones can be really smooth and easy to blend together. And I'm also planning to do a video showing different kinds of paper and like the difference between hot press and cold press, and also the difference between like Arch's watercolor paper and the Canson XL paper, as there are some differences in the way that they blend and the way that they dry and the kind of edges that they leave behind on the paper. And any of them can look really good, and I would recommend using all of them. They just give a little bit of a different look, so it depends on what you're going for. So for now, I'll just leave it at that with these supplies. And if you have any other questions, feel free to pop them down in the comments below, and I'd be happy to help. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to check out the rest of my channel if you're interested in seeing any watercolor tutorials and painting along with me. I make a lot of cute, very simple, modern card designs and little mini paintings that are really accessible for beginners. So hopefully you jump in and have some fun creating together. Thanks again, and hopefully I'll see you back again soon. Have a great day. Bye.